was right after I had gotten off work. And there was like this huge tree that had tons and tons of snow on it. And I just got my plate of hummus. And yeah, I'm wondering why the volume isn't. Let me see if it's something on this side.
I noticed that if
I
you
can
have,
hear him.
I don't know, for me it's just a little. I have this thing with Zoom, I think, or one of these apps. It like takes my volume, takes it down, and then I'm on other calls and people can't hear me.
Yeah, I've gotten that before. I don't know if it's any better now. I've got my internal microphone pumped to 100%. So
Okay,
yeah, unfortunately. But
thank you.
anyway, long story short, hopefully you can hear it. But basically, I was like, oh, there's a ton of ice in that tree, a ton of snow in that tree. And I just kind of kept walking, and then like almost the entire tree fell down in front of me. And I was like, wow, if I had not stopped to look up at that and wonder at it for a second, it could have just killed me by dropping me on all these branches. Like it was really kind of crazy.
So I'm looking at pictures from my mom. She's sending me on the farm where it's like 7 feet of snow, like 8 feet of snow. It's just like got like those chain link fences for her chicken coop, and she's telling me that the chickens are coming out of the chicken coop and jumping over the fences because the snow is just so high for them to get out. She's like, whether we want it or not, we've got free range chickens. I'm like, I'm so sorry that I don't live closer so I can come help you guys shovel out your driveway. It's like, it's ridiculous how much snow they've gotten this year. Like I know I was just watching some videos from the East Coast, and they've got like 12 to 14 feet of snow in the snow banks, because like you shovel out your driveway, you shovel it into a big pile. The big pile is like twice as tall as me now. And they're like using tractors with blowers to get it out. So like that's the Canadian experience of winter right now.
That's awesome.
And I'm trying to pull up what Matt suggested as topics today when I asked him.
Well, I've got plenty of
ones.
ideas. I've got some plenty of ideas. I think a good one to always open with is like, what's everyone's favorite kind of sandwich?
Grilled cheese. We'll just go with that. That's nice and safe. Like you can make it all sorts of different ways. There's no funky weird sauces. Well, not for me anyway. Typically, you can have meat and other things on it if you want, but like basic grilled cheese is good. Although I do like peanut butter and honey as the sandwich too. That's like a childhood, like nostalgic kind of thing for me. But otherwise, grilled cheese is pretty safe. I'm not really huge on like cold sandwiches much for whatever reason.
So I thought about the peanut butter and honey, and I'm like, wait, you can add bread to that? Because I just usually eat that out of a bowl.
Either way works.
A little Greek yogurt too, definitely.
Yeah, I remember this dude on Skool. I don't remember his Eric, maybe, but he had this thing where he was like a watermelon with peanut butter or something like that. I tried it. It wasn't bad.
I've got some watermelon in the fridge. I should try that.
Wasn't bad as a statement.
I'm trying not
Was
to
it
eat
good
sugar.
enough that you would have it again?
I like peanut butter, and I'm trying not to eat sugar again, white sugar that is, right? So my go-to sugar is date syrup, which I love. I used to not like it that much, but I like it now. And I just peanut butter sandwich with that stuff is good, is great.
So I guess my favorite sandwich, like I was thinking about it, I'm like, I don't really have like one. Like when I go to like Subway, I would get like it's called like a BMT, where they just stack like pretty much all the meat on it. But like I guess like when I make sandwiches at home, it's like a BLT, like bacon, lettuce, tomato, and then like sometimes I throw an egg on there, or like I'll put it on like an English muffin instead. Like that's the closest variation to a sandwich. But otherwise, yeah, it's just tomato soup and grilled cheese.
Classic.
I always forget about BLTs, and then you're mentioning it, and I'm like, man, I gotta make one. But I also don't have like a one specific one I like a favorite.
Because that's a challenge.
Yeah. I was thinking
Post your favorite sandwich on Skool.
It's like a trick question. It turns out that statistically, no one has, like 0% of people have a favorite sandwich. Matt.
I mean, and when the bulk of us on this call, I don't know about Matt, but I know the other two of you and me are neurospicy, and like trying to like narrow it down to just one thing, like is always hard. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. So
Yeah, and then you're like narrowing it down, and then you're like, but wait, but is that my favorite?
You could just say,
Well,
what's
let's
the
flip-
best sandwich?
Let's
That's
flip the
probably
question then,
not
Matt.
easier.
Answer the question. You've asked this question so many times. Apparently, what's the best sandwich? Statistically and according to you.
I think the best sandwich is a clear winner, and I'll take dissenting opinions for sure, but it's okay to be wrong. And I think it's ice cream.
Ice cream sandwiches.
It's a really good
like
one.
your
Yeah.
standard classic vanilla and like chocolate.
Yeah, man. Like who gets mad about ice cream sandwiches? I'm sure some people do. But if I were to go to if I were to just pick 1,000 people from random places on the planet and then be like, all right, this is why this is the best sandwich. Try an ice cream sandwich if you've never tried one, or if you have. I don't know. I think people would be pretty on board with that. Because like there's people who like, oh, they'll be like, oh, roast beef's the best sandwich. It's like, well, some people don't eat meat, like there's all these different opinions. Ice cream sandwich, right? You could have a dairy-free version. It's pretty accessible, so
The sorbet
What's your favorite
sandwich.
version though of an ice cream sandwich? What would your dream ice cream sandwich consist of, Matt? Like standard vanilla and the chocolate like on both sides, or are you doing like chocolate chip cookie and a different flavor of ice cream? See, the neurospicy brain is
no, this is perfect.
These are important questions.
Yeah, the traditional cookie, like the kind of like black cookie, the black chocolate cookie, but then you'd have to have a cookies and cream with cookie dough inside. That would be the best one for me personally. I've never found one of those ever.
You could probably make them at home.
I could probably just make one. Yeah.
Dairy Queen executives are listening. Like, okay, put cookie dough in the ice cream sandwich. It's like, I agree. That would be the best.
Here's a question: if there's only one snack allowed whenever there is a school con, right? What should that snack be?
Ketchup chips.
Ketchup chips.
Oh my god.
Why?
I forgot they have those.
Because that's the best snack, and like I'm pretty sure it's like mostly only available in Canada, and so like it's the best snack. When I go grocery shopping, I write snacks, and then when I know snacks, it's ketchup chips.
And then you go and get some fries with vinegar and pepper or whatever. Right? Do you do
No,
that?
My
ketchup
brain
chip-
goes
ketchup-
to like, well, we need mangoes, right? Or dragon fruit for like Kirby. Like my brain automatically goes to all these different things that I've seen or like the seltzer water that they drink at school headquarters, right? Like I'm thinking school centric stuff, not like what snacks I would prefer.
No, hands down, ketchup chips. Anybody listening should try to get a hand on ketchup chips. I'll be bringing some down when I go visit HQ, and they're gonna love them.
Perfect.
Pizza, dude. Yeah.
Pizza. Yeah, I guess that's a good.
It's also pretty fail safe. Yeah.
Because it's so versatile too. Like you could grab like Airx pizza sauce. Like you turn anything into pizza. It's like basically like just pizza sauce but ketchup sauce. I'd put that on a chip. Pizza chips.
This is getting more and more complicated the more I think about it. It's probably a reason why at the school HQ, at least from when I got a chance to visit it, I think they just offered drinks. It's easier that way. All right, so
Makes
the first
the
question
options
was what's the
easier.
best sandwich? And the second question is a natural lead-in, which is why do humans exist? Why do we
Ketchup
exist?
chips.
Yeah, ketchup. Well, okay, that's
That's the
that-
theme of this episode now.
to get back at each other.
To get back at each other.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's very
For revenge. They exist for revenge.
Do we live multiple lifetimes just to seek revenge upon one another? Is that
Exactly. Also known as karma.
Yeah. Okay.
So So I guess the next question then is, why are you here, Marcin? What are we taking karma on today?
I don't know what did you do to me in the last life.
He fed you ketchup chips, man.
He forced ketchup chips into me.
Illegal in Poland. Geneva Convention.
That was so funny, by the way, in that comment when I was like in one of these old posts where I commented that like gifts are illegal in Canada, and then after, in the Skoolers community, and then someone after like I don't know months and months were like, is that true?
Well, here's a good question. What do you guys think of the is the Skoolers community a community? I've heard that question be thrown around.
Is any community a community?
That's too meta. Answer the specific question.
But I think for me it's both. Like that question could be asked with any community, and I see it similar. Like what is a community?
Okay, how do you
right?
define community then? Let's start with that. Define the word community for me.
I mean, a group of people that work together towards a similar goal.
Yeah, absolutely. So does Skoolers not count for that?
I think so. I think they count. Why wouldn't it be a community? I mean, it depends on how you like. Okay, I defined community. So if you use that definition, then yes.
Do you think it's a good community?
Oh.
Matt's out here doing Kirby's grunt work.
I mean, he's asking good questions. I find it to be very curious too. I've seen a lot of back and forth with people, and so yeah.
What is a good community, right? I guess a good community would be a community that fulfills the goals of the community, like about page, let's say, right? Or
well, I know Matt's going to immediately ask, like, what are the goals according to you? But I'd like to take a step back to be like, what is your experience about like within the Skool community? Because I didn't join. It was originally Skool community until
way back
I met Marcin. And I didn't join the Skool games because I didn't have a community. I was a growth operator. So I was like through my friend's account logging in to see what was going on. And then I finally created my own community. I got into the Skool community, and that led to so many more friends on Skool that I got to meet. And so like my experience has been pretty fruitful and rewarding. And I hear a lot of the similar complaints about like moderation and blah, blah, blah. So I guess like we'll ask Sarah and Matt too, but I'll turn that back on Marcin. Like, what has been your experience with Skool community and now Skoolers, and like over those evolutions to where we are today?
Lately, I haven't been on Skoolers that much, so that's my experience. I don't visit it that much.
Why not?
Well, it's just I don't see I like helping people, and if people ask the same questions and it just feels like a waste of time. It doesn't really feel like it's the best way of helping people with those specific things that they need help with in Skoolers. And if I'm not able to do that, then I don't feel as if I want to be in that community again, because then I feel more like a moderator, right? That I'm just I'm answering the same questions again and again and again. That's basically. I thought it was going to be more deep, but I guess that's it.
It doesn't have to be deep.
That's a good question.
I got bored.
I had that. I got bored. It's as simple as that, right? It doesn't mean that I won't come back with it. Come back into the community, right? If I have another way, if I have a way to do what I want to do, which is help more people, be like with a good post, right? Then sure. Or, sometimes I visit, right? I just see, and if randomly I see something that interests me, even if it's the same question asked again and again, I do go in and answer it. But it's not my daily thing anymore, where I used to just pop in there and just kind of filter. Same. Well, the real reason I don't go to Skoolers is that those damn pinned posts. For highly engaged people, if I go there every day and I see the same post every time, again and again, It's a no-go. It's too boring. I have to scroll past 3 pinned posts just to get to the meat of the thing. Come
How
on,
dare
what
they?
the hell?
I've noticed they've gotten a lot better at like rotating out the pin posts. At least there's
Yeah, I've seen
always
that too.
obviously like school news is happening. That's every week that gets pinned for a few days, right? But I've noticed at least in the last couple weeks they've gone a lot better at like rotating out the top posts. Because for me, honestly, Schoolers is like the place I go to make sure I get the 10 activities per day. I check the first 30. I see if there's a question I can answer. I look if there's something to engage. But unless somebody I'm following posts in there, I don't really go in there much because I've consumed all of the classroom content. It doesn't bring me anything to go in there and answer questions for other schoolers right now because that's not part of our like market for the community I work within, right? So like I hear what you're saying, Marcin, about like I don't really spend a lot of time in there and do stuff. But I think that's coming from a level like I'm level 8. Like that's that perspective of like when I was coming up and doing it, like there was like a couple months where it was like insane activity every day, every week, every month. But then as soon as you hit that level 7, level 8, you're like, I'm one of the cool people now. And you
I'm one of the cool
slowly
kids.
stop spending time like every day
Unless
engaging
you're
in it,
Sarah,
right?
and then you're coming up on level 10.
Yeah,
But
unless you're Sarah. I've been consistently at like 23rd in the top like leaderboard, like consistently. So I'm happy with that. But yeah, we've got Sarah here, number 2, second to hit level 9, first female to hit level 9. What's your experience been like in the schoolers community from like school community originally until now?
Yeah, it's been interesting to watch, and I want to talk to Marcin's. Like, you can tell, Marcin, that you haven't been in Schoolers for a while because, like, they are doing better, like Pat said, about rotating. But also, the really cool thing that I watched or I caught it probably like 3 weeks ago. It was kind of in the holiday break, maybe, or right before, where they pinned a newbies post. Like, they
Yes.
pinned somebody that wasn't talking about making gobs of money or like, this format, like whatever, and I messaged Kirby right away. I was like, that's freaking awesome. Like, I would love to see more of that because then that helps more newbies get plugging in. Oh, look, it's not just right. And I think that some of that, like what some folks I've seen talk about is like, only the big wigs or the people that are making lots of money get to do whatever they want, right? Like that's their perception and that kind of thing. So like seeing that, and then since then I've watched them continually now start moving either some newbies or people that aren't making a shit ton of money. And then on school news, right? Was that yesterday? Yeah, that was yesterday. Sam was highlighting, right? Groups that weren't like way up here with crazy amounts of money. And I was like, damn, that's cool. That's really amazing because that's the kind of culture that I'm like here all day for. Yeah, it's amazing that people are making gobs and gobs of money, but like there's a way, and just like last year, right? Like and I guess it is last year now since we're in January of 2026, but like last year where they overhauled the school games, right? And did all the different categories. So more different types of communities have a chance to go to LA and see headquarters and ask questions and all of that. Like it just like I'm watching all of this sort of evolve, and it's like I'm fucking here for that, right? Because a lot of times, especially if you're a newbie, right, it takes a while if you've never built an online business or you don't have a following or whatever. And like you can try to follow all these, formats and steps, but that's still, there's a lot of inner work and other things like you have to go through to get to that point and to be able to see other folks that are just ahead of you, or like you realize that, oh, I can make it there. Like I may not like the 30 or 40,000 or 200,000 a month, like seems impossible to me, but like highlighting, folks that are making 500, 3,000 a month, like that's more tangible. So like I'm here all day for that. So that's not really the question y'all ask. As far as like the community experience, like I'm still in there pretty consistently. Like I'm not in there as often as I was like for the first year and a half, right? Because I'm also building my own communities and I'm making ads for school and like doing all these things. And like I've got to that point where I have to like, balance, but I do enjoy going in there and scrolling around. And like Marcin said, like there are some days where it feels like there's a lot of, redundant questions, but they're newbies, right? Most of the time, or they don't really understand the culture of the space, or like how to post well, you know what I mean? Like maybe there's a way eventually they can figure out how to not make a course, but just like some sort of video that could be pinned or like sent to new folks so they don't have such a hard time with a steep learning curve, even though like to me it doesn't seem like it should be, but also like I understand that people coming from other social platforms, right, and this is the way it's done over there and everywhere else, and this is school is very different, which we all enjoy and appreciate, but like it can be a little rough, right? So and then walking through like watching anytime there's a big influx of people, the moderation kind of goes right to try to like navigate so that it's not everybody going haywire crazy all the time. But then you get that pushback of like people that have been around for a while. Why is this changing? Why did the fun category go away? Why can't we do this anymore? Right. So there's like growing pains every time something shifts slightly. But then every once in a while I'll get a message from like Kirby or somebody like, how's the school community feel for you? Right. And like I got one recently and I said, it was pretty cool to watch. Like over the Christmas break, things relaxed a lot, right? And so you got to see a little bit more of like the fun post. Yeah, still school centered in some way, but like a little bit more lax. And so it'll be interesting. It's always interesting to see how things evolve and grow. But yeah, that's I guess my take on it. Long story, not short.
We're not
But
here
it's
for the
true with
short
the pin
stories.
post. So for people who will be watching this and don't know me that well, I'm not that serious with the pin post. It's not a deal breaker. It does like it's annoying for me. But you're right. It has been like I go to the Skoolers enough to I mean I didn't, let's put it this way, I didn't notice it. I saw those posts because even if I'm doing some research, let's say if I go to the games or if I see those posts, right? But I guess I didn't realize it then. But when you're saying it right now, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember scrolling and seeing that it's been changing. Like it's not the same thing there all the time anymore.
Yeah, I think one thing I would like to see would be like what y'all touched on with the fact that more newbie stuff is being highlighted or different things that aren't just people making gobs of money. I think it would be great to have some sort of like, I don't know, you could use the calendar feature maybe. And, it can be like, newbie Tuesday or whatever. And, people can post more threads like that. Maybe there'll be it's God forbid, a mega thread or something where it's like, hey, ask all of your questions here. We're going to dedicate an hour or something of somebody who knows their stuff and is approved to go in and like answer as many questions as they can or something. But then we as a community could all jump in. I think I don't know what the right word is. Maybe casual is not the right word, but it's what comes to mind. Like
some sort of pop-up event. That's not school news. That's not a value post. That's not like someone else grabbing attention or whatever. That is just like Kirby post and is just like, hey, we've got Steven who's done X, Y, Z, and he's going to be active for the next how many ever hours or whatever to answer your questions. And we encourage all of you, our power users, to jump in and answer questions as well. And then it just becomes like the power post. Yeah.
Yeah. More rallying, I think, would be good.
Like a live call, do you think? Because I watch and about every week or two, there is somebody, not one of us like, oh, geez, level 8, 9, like not somebody like that, but there is somebody that is like level 5, 6, like, hey, newbies, what questions do you have or what are you struggling with, right? So there are people that do post those threads in there. And so it's up to us, that's where it's helpful. Like if you're in and out of Skoolers, like at least once a day, like you can kind of catch those things because those sorts of posts get bumped up often. They end up with a lot of comments kind of thing. But like because the OGs or the bigger name folks or the, those of us that have been around for a lot longer aren't in there as often. It's usually just the poster and occasionally whoever else finds it. So there's that like push pull, like what, there is something kind of like that that's done. And do we really need more than that? Or do we just need to make the effort to like show up in the space and contribute in that way?
Yeah, I think Pat made a good point because I have a very similar experience where I'll go in and I'll scan the first page only and I'll be like, is there something I can help with? Because I'm here. I'm happy to do it. But then after that, it's just so much noise that I'm like, all right, well, I'll come back, the next time somebody posts in here that I know about or school news is posted.
Or you,
like that.
like you or Pat or Marcin or me, like one of us, like we could take the initiative and make a post, right? And we
That's
just
true.
have the bell turned out and be like, okay, or you if you make a post like that, Matt, and I don't find it and I don't turn the bell on, like we could message each other, like DM, be like, hey, I'm making this post. It'd be amazing if it wasn't just me like giving this information. And like we've all got like there's more than just the four of us. We've all got lots of school friends, right, that would be willing to do that, I bet. And that would then cut down on the noise as far as like going through the feed and kind of thing. Like I'm always, for a long time in most of my life, I was always like, I wish I had this or I wish it was this way. But I've learned, right? Like it's better for me. Like if I see something that's missing or something that I would enjoy, it's better for me to initiate it rather than, wishing somebody else would do it or saying, oh, well, it needs to be this way first. Just take the messy AF action and see what happens kind of deal, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think you make a good point there about like message, like go into school and DM your friends and be like, hey, because like I only follow 30 people. And I only do it because that's one page of people I'm following and it keeps my notifications clean. And it doesn't mean that I don't like my friends and I don't want to follow them and I don't want to see what's going on with them. But like, I'm sorry, Marcin, I already turn notifications on for the things that you do and I pay attention to the stuff that matters. So like, I don't need to see every post you post in every community that I'm a part of that I'm because I am considered a power user, part of the 1% of schoolers or whatever, right? Like it just is what it is. So I think there's no shame in sending that DM and being like, hey, and that's no matter what community you're part of, like whether it's in schoolers or like part of the community. Like we saw the photography one featured this week. Like if you're in there and you post that, be like, hey, I just made this post about blah, blah, blah. I'd love to hear what you thought and send it to your few closest contacts. Like I think that goes back to that question you said earlier about like what makes a community. And like I've been struggling with that too, because I run a community in the money category. How the heck do you make a community around people who just want to make more money? Like that's probably the most challenging community to create community around, is people who are just there to make money in the money category. Whereas every other one, like love and relationships or whatever, right? That's obviously very community centered, where you're like helping each other out with whatever dynamic it is, right? So I think there's no shame in like, that's one of the features on Skool. DM.
Yep.
It's awesome. Use it. Make friends. Follow them if you're not too overwhelmed, and like ask them, hey, I just made this post. Like, would you mind commenting your feedback below it, right? Or like your thoughts below it.
Yep, absolutely. How do you guys feel about this statement? I've been thinking about this one a little bit. I feel like every community has a cost to being a part of it. And what I feel like most people don't factor in, or at least don't maybe recognize at first, is that for not only for you as the creator, but also for your members, right? That community has the cost of convenience. How does that make you guys feel? Do you agree, disagree? What are your thoughts on it?
Can you put it in a different context? My neurospicy is not quite getting that last part.
You're good. It's hard to be a part of a community. Like, obviously, if you have a free community, you want to get as many people to be a part of it as possible, but it takes energy and effort to go in and read, like what we've all been talking about right here, to go in, scroll past the pinned posts. There's 3 of them. Geez, it's so huge. I'm kidding, obviously. But yeah, the cost of convenience is that people have to put in energy and work to get something out of it. It's not like you can just, I pop open my drink and I have a drink. It's like you have
to. So it's not convenient, right? What you're saying.
Yeah. Whereas like, going on your phone and scrolling, that's pretty convenient. That's a pretty big dopamine hit, right? If you get a reel or whatever for something that you find interesting, like that's as easy as moving your thumb. Whereas
I have a specific example.
You have to come in. Go ahead.
In Sarah's community, I made a post last week that's like, it's my birthday. I don't care about saying happy birthday. Here's what I want to hear. And I asked a specific question. And one of the members in our community sent me, like, commented a Loom video and challenged me to make another post with the thing. That's been sitting in my notifications for over a week now because I'm like, son of a bitch, I don't want to ignore it. I don't want to just reply with a basic answer. I don't want to make a basic post. I'm going to respond to it. It's sitting there. It's one of one notifications right now. I'm going to get to it, but I need to put in effort in order to respond to it, not just some minimal thing, because it's not Instagram where I go, wow, you go, girl. It's like he sent me a 3-minute Loom video that I have to respond to. And like, I should probably put another Loom video together myself, or like at least like a thoughtful response that I've written notes on, but like for me to take time on my busy day, running the community full time with kids, with XYZ that you're doing, like that's one that I flagged as like, I'll get back to it and I'll make a thing and I'll respond to him and I'll tag him and it's going to be awesome. But like, I don't know if it's going to happen this week or next week because it's going to sit there for a little while until I have the mental energy. The same as I owe Sarah a testimonial video from like 3 months ago. She asked me for it. I was like, yeah, I'll do that for you. And then I just never did. And same with Marcin. I asked him, hey, could I do this for you? And then I just never did. It's on my task reminders. It's a part of the list. I'm going to get to it, but like,
I don't even remember
effort.
what you were going to do for me. Right?
So I think that's the heart of Matt's question is like, Skool is so awesome, but it requires so much effort sometimes, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's community, in my opinion. It has
but I think software can do a lot to make it like every single thing like that, where I mean, I was kind of whining about the pin posts thing, about hiding it and that people not understanding that something should be changed because this doesn't work. I mean, I'm really like an app addict. I really, I create video tutorials about apps. In order to do that, I need to, I use a lot of apps and I kind of have a feeling of how things should be, at least from, even if it's not from the philosophical perspective, but from the click perspective, where if we can do it so a user can use 1 click instead of 2 or 3, well, then why the hell are we not doing it that way, right? So in terms of the pin posts, I'm like, okay, then they got rid of hiding the posts, and then I'm like, no, that's not exactly what I wanted. But at the same time, if someone changes the pin posts all the time, hiding the posts all the time is also a hassle. But I'll give you an example in terms of making it easier to engage. I know we could debate about this one specific feature for forever probably, but like once, you know where you have a long post and you open the post, and if you want to respond, you have to click to the very bottom in order to have it go there. And you have to do that every single time when there are larger posts. That's just an additional click, right?
Jump to recent comment.
Yeah, I would prefer, even though I would have to like rewire my brain to get used to it, to have the recent comments on the top instead of having it on the bottom. So when I open the post and I'm reading the post, I can see, and then I can post right away without having to click. Even better, if I open the post, I want my cursor to be already focused. I don't even have to click anything. I can just start typing my answer. Right? So I know, I like these kind of little things, but I do think these little things add up and actually do make it more convenient, even though it sounds like, oh, it's only 1 click. But yeah, if you're a power user, or even if you're not, like if you're deciding whether you want to, write something, the more clicks you need to click to do so, then it just makes it harder, a little more harder. And then all these things add up.
I really liked what you said about putting the most recent comment at the top rather than the bottom of the feed, because I think that's the way like Reddit or like it's been classically done. The most recent comment goes towards the bottom, so you can see the first comment at the top. So I think we've all experienced this across many communities. As soon as somebody posts, there's someone who posts a period and then edits the comment, or posts first Like it's a huge part of the culture on Skool, I think. So it's a bit of a like, do we really want to change that? Because it's like a pretty small thing to be like, oh yeah, I know the most recent post goes to the top rather than the bottom. Like that's a pretty small change, you think, but like in terms of the culture on Skool, like very specifically Goosify. Anytime Goose posts, the second I click on that post, there is already somebody who has already commented first, second, third, fourth, fifth, all the way through to 69th before I can even get 2 cents in, before I can even read the post to understand what he's talking about and like respond to it, right? So like that's a bit of a like positive
I'm willing
negative.
to trade. I'm willing to trade the culture for looking at a post. Okay, I see a post. Oh, you get the little blue thing, new comment, right? Oh, let's see what the new comment is. I click it. What does it do? It takes me. I have to still scroll down to find the comment.
Down to the bottom.
I still have to find the comment. I don't want to click it to find the new comment now, just because of that, for example, right? Convenience.
I think it's a very interesting that again, it sounds like such a minor thing, but I think in terms of like discoverability on the Skool and engagement and like getting your stars through the top 30 of your category, like I think that it sounds like such a small thing, but it is such a massive shift in terms of how Skool operates on the commenting feature specifically. Like I think it seems so small, but it's so big.
Okay, so that was wrong what I just said. Because if you click that blue thing that says new comment, it actually takes you to that comment, right?
Yep.
But very often, I just realized this. I have to rewire my brain to start doing that more. To clicking that blue thing instead of just clicking the whole thing, right? It just takes you, and I just discovered something new now. If you click the thing that says last comment 5 hours ago, or how, it also takes you to that comment. Because I'm like, okay, now I click that new comment, and after the call, I want to answer, and then I'm like, oh man, how do I unread this, right? How would I get back quickly to that comment? And then I just click the thing, and it opens. So
there's always more tricks under the hood.
Yeah.
What was the question
So otherwise,
again? What was the original question?
It was, how do you feel about the phrase, communities come at the cost of convenience? Do you agree or disagree? That was the original question.
Right. So like my brain automatically goes to like, I don't even remember the phrase, right? But basically it's like anything worth having. Like you have to put effort and work into it, whether it's business, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it's like learning something new.
Yeah.
Right. So like if yes, convenience is nice, but also like you have to maybe look at your perspective and like, what is your focus? Like, going into a community and like jumping all in. And yeah, there are caveats to that, right? So like when I find a new space I'm interested in, I join and I jump in. Like I jump in, and like I've gotten several messages about like, I'm really glad you're here. Like, I really appreciate your engagement, like all of this stuff, right? Because I jump all in. And that's great. And as long as like, yeah, there is kind of a wait eventually, right? Like if I'm in there and I'm carrying the bulk of the engagement, right? And I'm the one showing up to the calls, and my neurospicy always comes up with weird questions, and I have no hesitation anymore. And this wasn't always the case. I have no hesitation asking questions, even if I know they're not my questions, but most likely questions that other newbies on the call have. Like I have no problem doing that, right? But then at some point, if there's not some sort of exchange, an energy exchange, like not that I want people to pay me or anything like that, but like there needs to be other people in that group that like can meet me on a level and then are reciprocative. I don't know. There's a reciprocity, right? And so like there's give and take, because it took me a really long time to learn that. And I would like, before I would give and give and give and give, and I would burn out and I would get really overwhelmed and I would feel gross and wonder why you know, why are people taking it, like, basically advantage of me, or like, why is this happening? Why can't people be more like me, right? And so, like, having to shift my perspective to, okay, I'm choosing this. Like, I am allowed to put up boundaries. Like, I had to figure out how to do that, right?
Yeah.
Like, and be able to be okay with, like, here's my line. Like, I can go this far, and we'll see how things go. And like, maybe I go a little farther, maybe I don't. Like, I don't have rigid, like, this is my framework for how I engage in a place and how long I stay before I like leave, you know, all of that. I don't have any of that. But at the same time, right? Like, it's just figuring out what works for you and being willing to give and take and realize that, you know, yeah, it is work, but also to enjoy the benefits that we all want from community and like getting to know other humans and the amazing freaking networking that you can do on Skool and the humans that you get to meet and like do cool things with. Like, that is going to come at a cost. But like, for a lot of us, like, that cost is more than worth it, right? Especially like, even if we look at like how much we pay for Skool, like all of us were there last year before the hobby plan dropped, right? Like, and we were probably paying $99 for at least one Skool community, right? But like, the exchange of having the access to the main Skool community and Skool games before, you know, when that happened, and like the calls and the networking that's possible and the things that can happen from that is well worth that cost, right? So it's not whether or not, like, everything comes at a cost, right?
Yeah,
like everything.
of course. But you bring up a great point. I'll throw another stick of dynamite into it. Do you guys?
Before you do that, Matt? Before you do that, what are your thoughts on this?
Oh yeah, right. I asked the question. I mean, you guys have all made excellent points, and I'll piggyback on a few. But I think the summation of it is, I do think community comes at the cost of convenience. And humans naturally want to do things that are more convenient for them. But the right people will pay the cost, right? Or hopefully pay the cost. The inverse of that is kind of leading into my next question. But like, I almost feel, and my gut reaction, I'll just respect it. But like, with the release of the hobby plan, I feel like the Skool community obviously has gotten noisier. But there's so much difficulty in finding the signal. Like, the things that I think I love, this is just my gut reaction, right? But the things that I think I love about Skool are like harder. Oh, we lost a friend. Hopefully they'll come back. Oh, okay. Like connecting with people and finding like the kind of information that I'm looking for. I mean, the search bar is probably, I would just guess, I don't have evidence of this, but I feel like the search bar on Skoolers is like a money printer that nobody just knows how to use, because there's like so many posts about like, what's your community about? What advice would you give to the newbies? Like, how do you grow? My school's dead. Any other XYZ people here or whatever. I feel like all of the infrastructure that makes an amazing community is still there, but as it grows, I feel like it's gotten harder and harder. And I don't even want to pretend to know what a solution to that would be, but yeah, I would say the cost that it's had for me is that I could go, be more active and do more things. But I also don't like at least what I feel, and maybe I'm overanalyzing it, but I don't like the culture that's kind of shaping, where it's like everybody's there to self-promote, which is like, how do you even get rid of that? Like, that's going to be super tough. I've definitely done that too. I'm not like innocent of that. So yeah, I guess the follow-up question to that would be, do you guys think the Skool community is improved with the addition of the hobby plan and more access? Because I wasn't even thinking about that, But Sarah, you raised such a good point about like we were all there when it was, you know, $99. And maybe the difficulty of the access for it made people appreciate it more. I don't know. Anyway, just some thoughts off the top of my head. But
I have a thought on, like, I hope that part of the overhaul that they're doing, like they talked about discovery, right? But I hope that they help the search function. Like that's first, right? Like
yes,
helping that in Skoolers
needs so much help.
Like so that when you search something, like it actually brings up decent shit would be extremely beneficial. And second of all, maybe they make right. And like maybe they make like an onboarding thing, right? Maybe they make an extra one for Skoolers. This is how you use the search. This is where you go for, like, I know they have probably that, like I assume. I mean, the didn't even used to tell people that Skoolers was a thing. Like, I'm so glad that when that started happening, right? Like, so that people knew that they got access to this place with what's now over 180,000 other school owners across different niches doing things different ways. But like, yeah, some weird little like thing that says, hey, common questions, like use the search bar, right? Like it's here. And then maybe find a few other people like scrolling around that you identify with, and here's how you click through their profile, and then you know sort by posts, and you can look by all their posts, right? Like there's a few things that they could probably tweak slightly to help people be able to be more equipped to choose to do, you know. But like y'all said, like culture and society, like we just want it the easiest way, and because everywhere else on social media it's all about, you know, how do I do this, or, you know, what can you give me, right? It's not about asking things in a manner like asking the group for opinions on what they did, right? Like it's more of a me focus. So like that's when you get the newbies in, right? And then they're asking the redundant questions because either that one, they don't know that the search bar is there, or how, you know, or it's not giving good enough results when they try to use it, right? And like there are some little minor things, you know, that could happen there that would be extremely helpful in that regard. But otherwise, 100%. Like I don't know if it's necessarily a quality. Like I love seeing all of the different trades and like all of the different, you know, hobby type stuff and things that are joining Skool. You have to remember, like, we grew by like over 100,000 people in the Skoolers community, right? So the moderator team does an amazing job. And yeah, you're going to have redundant questions, right? Sure. Like that's just going to be part of it. When you grow, you almost triple in size, right? Like at least doubled. And then, you know, even in the last 4 months since the Hormozy, you know, tsunami thing ended, like the way they're running ads to the platform and doing other things, like we've kept steady at that number. So like, and you know, there's been flux. So like some of that's going to happen. I don't necessarily think personally to me that the quality, and I would much rather have more of the hobby people that want to start their own gig than a lot more bros and like money, you know, type groups anyway. So like if that's the trade-off for it, like I'm here for it. And if that means bros. That I'm in there and answering redundant questions and whatever, you know, sometimes, then so be it, right?
Well, I think to your point about the search feature, like even in my own community, I'm like, I go into the search bar to try to find a post from a thing that I'm trying to tag somebody in. And it's difficult to find, like, what was it called? Like, what was the title? Like, it's hard to find because it needs to be exact, or like searching for members' names.
Even if you do like the title that you think it was and the person's name, like there was a time, like even a year ago, like Brian had made his first masterclass post or something like in Skoolers. And I was like trying to search it and I couldn't. It didn't matter what I used in the search bar and like tried his name and everything. I had to go through like to his profile and scroll like 5 pages back like to find it. And I found it. But like that's a lot. Like that's a little nutsy. And we can't really expect newbies to like do that sort of thing, right?
Very true.
Link to your point about redundancy too. Like that's a good, like when I joined Skool community at the time, it was like 30,000 members. It's now Skoolers combined with Skool Games, the same community, and it's over 180,000 members. And it stayed consistently over 180,000 members for the last like few, so it's ridiculous the amount of new. So I think the redundancy, like you're saying, like take yourself back to the first week you joined Skool community or Skoolers. What
And
kind
how
of questions
excited
did you
were,
have?
right?
How active were you? How many posts? How many comments? How engaged were you? And then you get to a certain level or a certain point, and then you listen to what Alex and Sam and Kirby and all these other top creators on Skool are saying. You're like, oh wait, I need to focus. So my time shouldn't be spent in the Skoolers community. It should be spent in my own community. Right. And then I think that's where you feel a bit of that redundancy, because you're like, man, all these new people are coming in. But then you realize like it takes like one day to get to like level 5, level 6, if you really just like put the effort into it. So like you're looking at it from that different lens, right? I think one question I have is, how do we feel about, because of that question about redundancy, how do we feel about Alex Hormozi's approach to don't ask questions in his own community on Skool? So that's something he's referenced a bunch. Like, how do you guys feel about that as community owners?
What was the question again? I was a little sidetracked.
Yeah, no, like in Alex Hormozi's community, he says like one of the rules is don't ask questions. Like you just provide more value than you give is basically the idea. And they've covered this a couple times in Skoolers, but like from like I'm a community manager for Google Ads community, so like most people are asking questions because they've never used the software before and they don't know. So it's like a lot of redundancy and a lot of questions and pointing them to pre-existing resources. So how do you guys feel about that rule from Alex's community about like don't ask questions, like just provide value?
I think it would kill most communities. Yeah.
I haven't heard about that.
Don't ask I-centered questions, right? So it's like, and you see that often sometimes in the Skoolers community, and they do try to moderate those things, I think. Like, can you give me a review about my About page, for example, right? Like, I need help with my About page. Instead of, what have other people done about this issue with conversions or this issue with the About page, like specific, right? And framing it more as a general question, asking other people to share their experience and their knowledge and that sort of thing, rather than making it an I-centered thing, right? Like that's what I prefer, and that's what I do in my community space as much as possible. Yeah, sure, people share wins, celebrate like this is what happened for me, and so those posts are okay too. Like I can't imagine a space where you can't ask questions, and like it's just like I would be intrigued to see the inside of that space, right? But also then you have to remember a lot of people in that space are already like high earning folks usually, right? In Alex's space, I think, right, to get a spot in that place, they already have to be in a position where they could have afforded that ticket and that kind of thing. So that's a whole different ball game, in my opinion, too, right? Like, so the value that's shared there is different than like value that might be shared in a free space for newbies and things like that. So they're different kind of ballparks to me. And it's kind of like comparing these bigger named folks that have huge followings elsewhere that have like 2 lines on their About page, or it's just a value stack, and everybody looking at that and going, oh, I need to do that, and they don't have a following and they're not running ads, and then they wonder why it doesn't work, right? Yep. So like you have to pay attention and be careful that you're comparing apples to apples and not, apples to some like tropical pineapple or watermelon or whatever, right?
Model the rise, not the achievement.
Yeah. So is it Hormozi's group only like it's illegal to post questions and you can only post thought leader posts? That would be hilarious.
I think you have to go back and look at the YouTube for the Skool news post. They talk about they talk about Hormozi's community specifically in one of the episodes there, but that was one of the points of interest they talked about, is how because of the scale, like he works with business owners at a certain scale. So rather than them come in and be like Sarah said, I'm doing this, help me with this, blah, 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 blah. It was more so, here's what I did, show experience, like promote discussion. And through that, the comments and the engagement were more of a, that's so cool, here's what I did. And there was more discussion. That's what my synopsis of the the point, right? But again,
Right.
I run a Google Ads community. We have lots of questions about where is this on the dashboard and how do you use this, how do you do that, right? Similar to Skoolers right now, there's a lot of where is the setting, how do you do this, how does that happen? So it really depends on, I think, the level of community you're at. But yeah, in Hermosa's community is more, I guess if you want to categorize it as that, Marcin, is more thought leader posts that promote discussion.
But I remember
And how do we all
Calvin-
feel about those kind of posts? Like when you see those posts in Schoolers and stuff like that, do you guys all go through and read all of them, like all of the thing? Like how does that make you feel? Or like what kind of posts do you resonate with? Like would you rather have somebody asking a question? Like maybe not an eye-centered question, but like a community question? Like, or would you rather just have a space full of posts like, you know, that just share, you know, these are my techniques and these are my 3 steps and these are all the things, right?
I remember Calvin Hollywood used to talk a lot about that no question thing. It was like no me questions, I think, or no I questions or something like that.
No me posts. Yeah.
No me posts.
Yeah. I think
if I got to the point where I had so many people wanting to like engage, like post a lot and stuff, and I might like do that rule. At this point, my community is more like a blog type community than a typical community that people, you know, engage in and write posts, etc.
I love your community, by the way. Like I use it as basically my school encyclopedia. Like anytime I'm like, wait, what was that thing? I'm like, I remember I use the search function and I remember specifically what it is. And then I find it. I'm like, oh yeah. And then I copy that and I send that to a member that I'm talking to on Skool. So like I find extreme value in your community. So like that's again to Sarah's point about like you don't have to do what Alex does. Like in terms of Marcin's case, like it's actually valuable that not a lot of people are in there posting tons of random crap all the time, because then I could go in and actually find that thing that Marcin posted 14 months ago that I'm still using today. And like I don't get to watch Skool News on Tuesdays, so I get to see Marcin's post, and then I go back and watch the YouTube later that night and I'm like, oh yeah, this is what Marcin told me about, right? So I think it's a valid validation of what Sarah said about like not everybody has to have the no me questions, right? Like it's your community, do it as you please, but it's just interesting, right?
Yeah. Matt, you were I was thinking about the dopamine hit thing. Sorry for switching.
No,
I just have this on my paper and it's like drooling into my brain. You were talking about like the convenience, right? I was thinking before. Pat is asking the question about the convenience thing, that you have to trade convenience for being part of the community.
it's inconvenient to be a part of a community.
Yeah,
right?
I think putting it that way is easier to understand. I feel.
Yeah.
To using the word.
Yeah, that's a better way to say it.
So I had this feeling before, like I was talking with a friend who has a community, and we were discussing different platforms and why people, because in Skool, one of the things people want, like probably like 90% of the thing is engagement, so-called engagement. And that means like, you know, people posting, your members posting, your members commenting. And that is something that comes up again and again and again. And the same question, how do I create engagement?
Yeah.
I have thoughts on that. Maybe it's not for this call because we'd probably talk like, I don't know, for a couple of hours about it. But we were thinking about like, you know, what drives people to post, right? Or to comment in the comment section. And it's because, you know, they want something, right?
Yeah.
What do they want? Like, what does that give them? And it is similar to, it's a dopamine hit in the end. It takes a little more than just, you know, scrolling what you said with the social media and getting it from there. But it's the same concept. That's how I feel about it. And I think that's what I don't maybe like about all the tricks. Now I kind of figured it out. Once you asked that question, I was thinking about it. with these different types of strategies of engagement is that they try to give those dopamine hits to the people just for the sake of engagement. Whereas I think a community should be structured around making those dopamine hits be connected with the goals of the community, so that the people get the dopamine hits once they actually do something, right? So if you have like a video community where you want people to create videos, you structure it around that so they get the hits from creating a video. If you have a community about learning about, I don't know, ads, right? Like Google ads, you create the lessons, you create something where by engaging, they get the dopamine hit, but the outcome is they actually learn something or they produce something. And I'm really happy we have this conversation, because before it was more of a feeling and like something I just didn't like. Now it's kind of connected in terms of like I can verbalize it, right? So yeah, I wanted to share that. And the thing we were talking about money, and this is again another topic that, you know, people, I don't remember what you were talking about, Matt, about the Skoolers community and, you know, people in it for the money or something like that. There's a lot of people.
Engagement farming, basically, for
engagement farming, or I don't.
Where most of the posts that were pinned and the bigger name, like it's all about the making of the money and the
making. Yeah, it's all about the making of the money. I think when money comes into the game, it's really hard not to be biased in terms of it's like a natural thing. And I think that's also something that is hard to deal with. But again, this is one of these big topics that I think maybe I shouldn't have even mentioned, because we could just go on and on about it. But I said it.
Well, I know. I think what you said is good, because I think what we'll do is put a pin in that, and then maybe we'll have Sarah and Matt and you come on again in the future, and we'll talk about that a little bit more, because I think that's one of the ones. Like, I sent you guys a comment, like a message before about like, hey, any topic ideas or whatever for like what you want to discuss. So Matt had some really great questions today. What do you think, Marcin?
I just like hanging out, man.
Yeah, no,
it's good. It's good. Good questions.
Just like Devin's podcast where we do it, we're just hanging out, like Matt's podcast, but it's pre-recorded. This is just school friends hanging out live. So I really appreciate you guys' time today, and I'm looking forward to some future conversations. But I think we'll end the live there, and then when we have you guys back, we'll pull the pin out of that, and like we'll just start right out the gate of like, what do we like and what do we don't like about engagement farming, and like how to do it the right way and how we've seen it done the wrong way. And I think that'll help a lot of the newbies and the redundant questions we keep getting asked.
That'll be juicy.
Awesome. Well, I'll hit the end stream. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on Skool.
It was
Great
super
pod.
fun,
It was
guys.
great.
Thanks.
See ya.